Before I get started, I have to give a shout out to Kimberly Frazier because she's the first person I saw who actually did a video pertaining to the same topic I'm about to speak on right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave a link to her commentary about this same subject in the description. Not even a week ago, or probably going on a week ago, Don Lemon was on, I believe it was Chris Cuomo on his show, where he pretty much announced to the world a statement that myself and others have said for quite some time. And he said that white men, especially radicalized, right-wing, westernized Caucasian males, are the biggest threat to America. Now, a lot of people got real upset with Don Lemon saying those things. And to be honest, Don Lemon was not even lying, because the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, actually put out a statement pretty much saying the same thing. So Don Lemon was merely being a messenger, and he wasn't saying anything that was opinionated. Now, we all know what just happened recently with the shooting that occurred in California at that bar in Thousand Oaks, where you had Ian David Long, who shot 30, I believe it's, he shot 30 people, and I believe they say 13 people died, including himself and the cop, one of the cops that he killed. Now you have this guy right here, whose name is Benjamin Craig Matthews, who literally stacked on top of Ian David Long, proved Don Lemon's point. Now, this guy right here is a backwoods hillbilly hick from Arkansas who literally sent all kinds of terroristic death threats to Don Lemon, with the hopes that Don Lemon would respond, or somebody respond to him. Now, based on what I've heard, this man made a whole bunch of calls to CNN, all the way from Arkansas all the way to CNN, requesting to quote unquote see Don Lemon. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to read the story, because I don't want to leave anything out, because the details surrounding this story are very, I would say, very detailed. I would say the details are very detailed. It said an Arkansas man was arrested on Election Day for allegedly making death threats against CNN anchor Don Lemon in more than 40 calls he placed to the network's headquarters. Authorities said the man also called MSNBC and two top Democrats in Congress, showing a pattern of harassment towards certain political affiliations. Benjamin Craig Matthews, age 39, faces 5 felony counts of terroristic threatening, as well as 13 misdemeanor counts for threats and harassing communications, according to an affidavit filed in Baxter County Circuit Court. Matthews allegedly called CNN's Atlanta headquarters dozens of times between October 31st and November 2nd. Those included 3 calls October 31st and 6 calls within 23 minutes on both November 1st and 2nd. To say this guy was determined is an understatement. Matthews allegedly made violent threats against Lemon in several calls. In one of his first calls, he said he would like to kick the shit out of Lemon, the affidavit said. The next day, he asked an operator to connect him to Lemon's dead body hanging from a tree. In another call, he asked to direct his call to pipe bombs for Lemon. And in another, he talked about bloody pictures of Lemon, cut up in small pieces like the movie Saw. See, that's why I said this article is what I'm reading to you is very detailed. Did you hear what this guy was saying? And it said that he called, how many times? He made 6 calls in 23 minutes. That's crazy. Now, I can't remember if Don Lemon made that comment before or after this guy made these calls. But this person right here, it sounds like he has a personal vendetta with Don Lemon. But let me continue. It says, an investigator with the Atlanta Police Department tracked the calls to Matthews and referred the case to authorities in Arkansas. According to the affidavit, Matthews also called Representative Maxine Waters, Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Washington Speaker Bureau of Planned Parenthood, and Stormy Daniels' attorney Michael Avenatti. It's unclear what he said in those calls, but the affidavit said they suggested a pattern of political harassment. Matthews from Mountain Home is being held on a $15,000 bail. He should have way more than $15,000 as a bail, or have no bail at all, to be quite honest. Jail records did not list an attorney for him. I figured this out now. I've always wondered, why don't they have an attorney? And I think I figured it out. I think the reason they don't have an attorney is because an attorney probably listened and looked at this case and said, I can't do it because there's no way I can get this person off. It says his arrest came less than 2 weeks after a Florida man, Cesar Sayoc, was arrested for allegedly sending mail bombs to CNN's New York office and to several leading Democrats, including former President Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Maxine Waters. Sayoc, who is being held on federal charges, had been living in a van covered with stickers, including ones that said CNN sucks and dishonest media. CNN did not immediately return to request for comment. All of this is saying is that Don Lemon was correct in his assessment. I may not agree with anything else Don Lemon says ever, but I will say that I do agree with that statement. And this guy right here, and that Ian David Long character, proved his point. Proved my point, proved a lot of people's points about how a lot of these radicalized, westernized white males really are. Now, Don Lemon doesn't know this guy from a can of paint. He's never done anything to this guy personally. He just doesn't like Don Lemon for whatever reason. Like I said, I can't remember if Don Lemon made that comment before this guy made these calls or after. I can't remember the exact date, but I think I didn't make that video not too long ago. I think it came before, or not before, but after. Not too far after though. And it's crazy because I looked at the comments for some of the comments on that video, and of course some of the trolls gonna come over and say that it's race baiting and things of that nature. I said, if y'all actually researched and used that IQ and put that high IQ, that so-called high IQ, to work, you would see that Don Lemon didn't come up with that out of thin air. It would have been nice if he would have said, according to the FBI, they said that white men are the biggest threat to the establishment. I wish he would have put that in there, because then that would have made them think twice before them trying to come at his neck. But either way, his assessment was true. There was a report that went out that today that said we have been in 2018 for 311 days. Out of those days, there has been at least one shooting per day. 307 total out of 311 days. That means there's only been 4 days where there was not a recorded mass shooting. That is crazy. And the thing is, we didn't even hear about all of them. We just know about the ones that have been reported. Could you imagine having to go every single day and having to hear about one mass shooting per day? And the majority of them were carried out by white individuals. And if you want to really narrow it down, mostly majority white males. So again, Don Lemon's point has been proven. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.